When buying a new PC for gaming at 1440p resolution, there are two essential components. One is the CPU and the other one is the GPU. If your graphics card or GPU is amazing, let's say is top tier, but then your CPU is weak, then you are going to be getting stutters, FPS drops, and your game will feel laggy. And if your CPU is great, but your GPU is not, then you most likely won't achieve the FPS number that you were targeting. For that reason, if you want to achieve high FPS, no stutters or FPS drops or any bottlenecks, stay, because I will show you the best CPU and GPU combos for 1440p resolution, all budgets included, from the cheapest one to the most expensive. And of course, I'll show you the level of gaming performance that you can achieve with each combo. By the way, you will have the links to all of these components down in the video description with the latest prices and availability. My name is Valentino. That being said, let's start. Before I start talking about the specific CPU and GPU combos for 1440p, I want to say that 1440p resolution, in my opinion, is the sweet spot because it's not as expensive as 4K, but it still looks much better than 1080p. So if you have a 1440p monitor, big thumbs up for you, because it's also easier to run than 4K. And you might be asking, what makes a CPU and GPU combo 1440p ready? Well, for starters, the GPU must have 12 gigs of VRAM or more, especially if you are going to be playing high demanding games, because as the time goes by, they require more and more VRAM. So if you want to play a game like Alan Wake 2 on ultra settings, having 12 gigs of VRAM or more is going to be essential. Now, if you want to play easier to run games like Fortnite, this is not going to be an issue. And then there are two more important things that make a CPU and GPU combo 1440p ready. The first one is the level of performance. You want to achieve at least 60 plus FPS in high demanding titles on high to ultra settings. And the second one is the CPU. The CPU doesn't always have to be top tier, but it has to be good enough not to bottleneck your GPU. Otherwise, as I said before, you are going to be suffering from stutters. And now let's go through the best CPU and GPU combos for every budget for 1440p. The first one is going to be the cheapest one, and this one is the budget CPU and GPU combo for 1440p high to ultra settings, because in high to ultra settings in high demanding titles, and I'm talking about games like Cyberpunk 2077, you will be able to achieve 67 plus FPS on average. And the reason why you will be able to average over 60 plus FPS is because you get the i5 12400F, which is in my opinion one of the best budget mid-range processors out there, alongside the RX 6700 XT, which is a 12 gigs of VRAM graphics card, amazing value going for under $300, and it will be able to achieve, as I said before, over 60 FPS at 1440p in high demanding games, and you will not be running into VRAM issues. Now, the price for this combo when I'm recording this video is under $400, and maybe when you're watching this, the price might be different because it keeps changing every single day. So as I said before, if you want to check the latest prices and availability, you will have all the links down in the description. Now, if you want to play esports shooters, let's say you want to play Valorant, CS2, Fortnite, these type of games, with this combo you can expect 165 plus FPS on average competitive settings, so you can easily fit 144 or 165 Hz 1440p monitor. Then we have the better combo. The better combo has the same CPU in the i5 12400F, because you can actually pair it with plenty of graphics cards in the entire market without bottlenecking them, which is a huge plus. But then for the graphics card, you get a faster GPU in the RX 6800. This is a 16 gigs of VRAM graphics card that's going to be able to achieve over 80 plus FPS on average when it comes to the most high demanding titles out there on high to ultra settings. By the way, this is native resolution, so there's no FSR involved, which is the upscaler from AMD, and it's going to be able to give you higher FPS. So if you want to play those high demanding games like Cyberpunk 2077, The Last of Us Part 1, you can easily turn on FSR, and instead of achieving around 84 FPS on average across all titles, then the average will go up by about 15 to 30 FPS depending on the exact game that you are playing. Now, the total price for this combo by the time of filming is under $500. It's around 470 bucks, so great price for a CPU and GPU combo that will have no issues when it comes to 1440p high to ultra settings. And by the way, in esports shooters, here you can expect 200 plus FPS on average competitive settings. With the next one, we have the mid-range combo, and this one has the AMD Ryzen 5 7600 for the CPU, which which is actually my favorite CPU in the entire market when it comes to price to performance. And then you get the RX 7800 XT graphics card. The reason why the 7600 is so good when it comes to price to performance is because it's going for under $200. It will give you plenty of FPS in esports shooters. It's super upgradable over time because you are on the AM5 platform. So if you have the proper motherboard, you will be able to swap the CPU without having to replace the motherboard to higher end CPUs in the market, like a Ryzen 9 9950X or a Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is the fastest CPU for gaming in the entire market. So here you get much more upgradability than any other combo I've mentioned so far. And then the RX 7800XT is almost a high-end graphics card when it comes to 1440p resolution, and you can expect around 100 plus FPS native resolution when it comes to high demanding titles on average. And then if you want to play esports shooters, you can expect well over 240 plus FPS on average, and most of the time over 300 FPS because games like CS2 and Valorant are very easy to run. So it will depend on the esports shooter, but in some cases you will be able to average over 360 plus FPS, so you can buy a 360Hz 1440p monitor. The price for this combo is under $700 by the time of filming, and if you have a bit of extra money to spend, I recommend you buying the upper mid-range combo, which has the same Ryzen 5 7600 CPU, but this time you get the RTX 4070 Super graphics card. The RTX 4070 Super will allow you to achieve slightly higher FPS compared to the RX 7800 XT on average, but with the 4070 Super you get a much faster level of ray tracing performance in case you're interested in turning on ray tracing, and then you get DLSS, which is a better upscaler than FSR, and this is going to be nice if you want to play the most high demanding titles with ray tracing enabled and you want to still achieve a smoother frame rates, because turning on DLSS will give you a better picture quality compared to FSR and it's going to perform better. So if you want to play with any upscaler on, the RTX 4070 Super is the much better option. However, if you do not want to turn on any upscaler while playing your favorite games and you don't care about ray tracing, then I recommend you going with the 7900 GRE from AMD, which is a 16 gigs of VRAM graphics card that will deliver about the same performance as the RTX 4070 Super native resolution. And with the 7900 GRE, you get 16 gigs of VRAM instead of 12 gigs of VRAM from the 4070 Super, and it's also quite cheaper. The CPU and GPU combo with the RTX 4070 Super is going to be around $760, and the one with the 7900 GRE is going to cost you around $710 to $720. And then if you want the best of the best when it comes to 1440p resolution, so you want to achieve the highest frame rates, then I recommend you getting the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is the fastest CPU in the entire market when it comes to gaming. So you will be able to achieve really high frame rates when it comes to esports shooters like Fortnite, CS2, Rainbow, and these type of games. In fact, you can achieve well over 500 plus FPS on average at 1440p competitive settings, so you can buy the highest refresh rate 1440p monitor out there if you want to. And then for the graphics card, you get, in my opinion, the fastest GPU in the entire market for 1440p, and I believe that anything over this is going to be a complete overkill to play at 1440p resolution. This GPU is the RTX 4070 Ti Super. The reason why I like that GPU is because you get all of the NVIDIA feature set, so better level of ray tracing, DLSS is usually better when it comes to content creation applications as well compared to AMD GPUs, and you get 16 gigs of VRAM, so it's going to be plenty of VRAM for 1440p or even 4K if you want to upgrade down the line. And by the way, I will talk about 4K resolution in just a moment. Now, in terms of average FPS, you can expect well over 120 FPS when it comes to the most high demanding titles out there, and as I said before, over 500 plus FPS when it comes to esports shooters. And the price for this combo as of right now is around $1,150, and if you want to go with an AMD graphics card instead, because they are cheaper, will give you about the same rasterized performance, and you do not care about ray tracing, content creation, or DLSS, then go with the RX 7900 XT, and in that case the price will be around $1,050, so it's around $100 cheaper. And then I have two bonus combos for you guys that I didn't mention, and the first one is is the Esports combo. Let's say you want to play esports shooters, but you do not want to get the best of the best combo because it's quite expensive. Then I recommend you getting the Ryzen 7 7800X3D processor, which is the fastest CPU and will give you the fastest FPS. So once again, over 500 plus FPS when it comes to esports shooters. And then get the RX 7800 XT graphics card, which is going to be perfect for 1440p anyway. You will be able to play high demanding games with no issues, 100 plus FPS, but in those high demanding titles, you will be achieving the fastest frame rates. The price for this combo is around $846, so around $300 cheaper than the best of the best combo, and you will be achieving about the same level of performance when it comes to esports shooters. And then the second bonus combo is the cheapest 1440p combo out there. I wouldn't go any lower than this, and this combo has the i5 12400F CPU, which is the budget CPU I mentioned today, but then you get the RX 6650 XT graphics card, which is going to be quite slower than any other GPU I've mentioned today. But if you are going to be playing easy to run games, for example GTA 5 or Minecraft, then this combo is going to be perfectly fine for 1440p. And if you want to play high demanding titles but you turn on FSR, then you're gonna still expect decent frame rates, but just keep in mind that this GPU has 8 gigs of VRAM, so if you will be playing high demanding titles, most likely you have to turn down the settings from ultra to medium or high, depending on the exact game and whether or not you want to turn on FSR. Now, the price for this combo is the cheapest one, of course, at $330, and as I said before, it's a very decent combo for easy to run titles. But now let's talk about 4K resolution. Now, from the mid-range combo up to the best of the best, you can run games at 4K with no issues. The mid-range and upper mid-range combo will allow you to play at 4K resolution native 60 plus FPS on average, and the best of the best will allow you to play from 70 to 75 plus FPS at 4K high to ultra settings native resolution. Now, if you turn on DLSS or FSR, you can expect around 15 to 30 plus FPS on average, depending on the exact game that you're playing and depending on the settings. So you can easily upgrade to 4K if you buy any of those combos. And then if you want to play at 1080p resolution instead and upgrade to 1440p down the line, every combo mentioned today will allow you to achieve high FPS at 1080p, way higher FPS than 1440p. Let me know what is your favorite combo, and remember that the prices might be different when you're watching this one. Now, you can bottleneck your entire system if you get the wrong components. It's not just about the CPU and GPU combo, because any other component can bottleneck your system, like the power supply, airflow, memory kit, and much more. So if you want to see the best gaming PC builds in 2024 for 1080p, 1440p, and 4K resolution for every budget, you will have that video in the top right of the screen. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.